You can call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Ikram Aliskerov takes on André Muniz this Saturday at UFC Fight Night Kansas City, and this is a really fun matchup in the middleweight division. Ikram Aliskerov, he's 32 years old, 6 foot with a 76-inch reach and a 15-2 record. His only 2 losses are to none other than Robert Whittaker and Khamzat Chimaev, so no shame in those 2 losses. Last fought Robert Whittaker back in June of last summer, where he was knocked out in the first round. First and foremost, Ikram Aliskerov from Dagestan, so you know he's going to have really good wrestling, which he does. Primarily a Sambo fighter, 4-time World Combat Sambo champion, 2-time European champion, master of sport in combat Sambo, so going to be a tough test for André Muniz, who likes to get the fights to the ground where he's got very high-level jiu-jitsu. Ikram Aliskerov, making his return, like I said, hasn't had the best luck in staying consistent in the UFC. Had a lot of fights fall apart against him. Back in July of 2023, he was supposed to fight Paulo Costa. That got canceled. He was supposed to fight Nassourdine Imavov. That got canceled, so he eventually took on Warlley Alves. Then in February, supposed to fight Anthony Hernandez. That got canceled. Was supposed to initially fight André Muniz in June. That got canceled. Replaced with Antonio Tricoli. Then that fight got canceled, and he got pushed back to take on Robert Whittaker on 1 week's notice. So very chaotic schedule for this guy. So I can forgive the loss to Robert Whittaker, taking it on short notice, and it being Robert Whittaker, who's former champion, very elite. So Aliskerov, very good power on the feet. He can finish the fight anywhere. With his hands, with his knees, has a lot of submissions on the ground as well, so very versatile. Can keep the fight wherever he wants it. If he wants to get the takedown, he can get it. If he wants to keep it on the feet, and damage you there, he can do it. So always has that in his back pocket, but he can't be hurt. He was knocked out by Chimaev, knocked down by a jab, and then put out by an uppercut, and was recently KO'd by Robert Whittaker. Granted, that was back in June of last year, so he's had time to recover, so hopefully his chin is back in shape, so to speak. Taking on André Muniz, very high level fighter, very good jiu-jitsu. Snapped the arm of Jacare Souza a few years ago. So very good armbar, has a lot of armbar finishes in the UFC. So very dangerous on the ground, or so we thought, and I will get to that. But his last fight was against Jun Young Park, and that was in December of 2023. So been out of the game for a little bit now, and again, 35 years old, not getting any younger. He is a southpaw, has really good kicks. Not the best stand-up though. He's not terrible. He's not a victim on the feet, but I would argue he was outstruck by Paul Craig on the feet, and really just kind of looks to get the fight to the ground. That's really his bread and butter. I got to go with Ikram Aliskerov in this one though. I just feel like he has more potential to end the fight. He can end the fight on the ground. He can put you out on the feet, and I think he's going to be able to keep this fight on the feet and just beat up Muniz. I don't see Muniz being able to get him down. If Khamzat Chimaev couldn't get him down, I don't think André Muniz will be able to either. Like I said, he hasn't fought since December of 2023. And in that fight, I think he lost. I think he lost that decision to Jun Young Park. I think he was gifted that decision. But yeah, I think he lost that fight. I think he lost 2 of the 3 rounds. And so I think technically he's on a 3-fight losing streak, because before that he lost to Paul Craig by ground and pound, and then the fight before that lost to Brendan Allen. So I don't think he's won a fight since July of 2022, and that was against Uriah Hall. And you look back through his record, I mean, yeah, granted, a Ronaldo Souza finish, especially by armbar break, is a good win, but he was like 41, 42 years old. Beat Eric Anders, Bartosz Fabiński, like a lot of these guys I've never even heard of, like he's beat on the Contender Series or in the UFC. And it seems like whenever he takes any type of step up in competition to the Paul Craigs, the Brendan Allens, the Jun Young Parks, he's losing, and he's not looking very good in the process. So he's shown great jiu-jitsu, previously in his career, but I wonder if we've overestimated it, honestly. He was beaten up on the ground by Paul Craig, kind of controlled, eventually got TKO'd on the ground, wasn't having a lot of success against Brendan Allen, was getting, Brendan Allen was getting sweeps, took him down, eventually got the rear naked choke against him, wasn't getting his game plan going against Jun Young Park on the ground. So I'm wondering if he really is just kind of a submission specialist and a ground specialist, but when it comes to MMA, he's not as, talented and dangerous as we once thought he was. So I don't think he's near the level of the striker as Ikram. I think he's got decent kicks, like I've said, but and Ikram is susceptible to leg kicks, but I don't think Muniz has the skills to really take advantage of that gap in his game. And I even think Ikram could get the takedowns and win this one by sub too. I think, you know, he's very high level in the sambo. And he got a really quick submission on the Contender Series. Like, he knows what he's doing down there. And, you know, if Brendan Allen, Paul Craig are doing it, I don't see any reason why Ikram Aliskerov couldn't do it, especially with the amount of time that he's been off. So even with that, I think he'll keep it on the feet. I do. I think he'll defend takedowns, keep it on the feet, and beat up Munoz and finish him there. I just don't think Munoz has the grit and the tenacity that we once thought he did, just showcased in his last 3 fights. And I think Ikram gets this one done within the distance. I was going with Ikram, and then I just recently looked at the odds, and he's like a minus 625 favorite over André Muniz, which I think is a little crazy because, you know, André Muniz is still very talented. He could get him to the ground eventually, or you know, still find a way to win this fight. So I think those odds are a little scary. I don't know if I would, if I was going to bet on this one, I would pick Aliskerov by finish or KO just to get the odds down a little bit. But again, Muniz, not a terrible dog in this one to catch somebody like Aliskerov, but I don't see it happening. I think Ikram Aliskerov gets it done within the distance. Worst case, gets it done by decision. Thanks.